starting at 5 till, we're going to go ahead and start now. I'd like to introduce David Fiess, and he's going to talk to us about bed bugs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I do apologize for those that are currently eating. It may gross you out a little bit, but bed bugs are an important thing to know about, keep an eye on. As Dr. Steiner said, my name is Dave Fiess. I'm with the Allen County Department of Health. I'm the Director of Environmental Services. My division at the Health Department, we basically do a lot of different things. We deal with septic systems, swimming pools, and that's in the pollution control program. And then in my vector control and healthy homes program, we deal a lot with housing issues, unsanitary conditions, pest issues like bed bugs, cockroaches, fleas. We deal with childhood lead poisoning. We deal with water damage that can lead to mold. We deal with radon. We have a substantial mosquito control program, rat control program. Let's see what else. Meth labs. We permit and inspect all the hotels and motels in Allen County. And I think I left something out. Dead animal dumps, all kinds of small spills, all kinds of things like that. But I'm here today to talk to you about bed bugs. One reason, if any of you are going into patient homes, or obviously you're having patients coming into your offices, you want to be wary about bed bugs. I always tell people when I do these presentations that, and this is going to be gross, but I would rather have cockroaches in my house than bed bugs. Cockroaches are very easy to get rid of. Basically, you clean up your food mess, and then you do some treatment, and they're gone. As long as you're keeping a clean house, they're gone. With bed bugs, it's a different story because it doesn't matter if your house is clean or dirty. Bed bugs, they're perfect hitchhikers. They get into your bags, they get into your home, and then you're going to spend quite a bit of money to get rid of those things because they are very small, they squeeze into tiny spaces, they lay a lot of eggs, and when that pest control person comes in to do bed bug control, they're basically going to tear your house apart. They're going to be tearing your bed apart, taking the frame apart, they're going to be turning your couch over, ripping off that fabric underneath to look for them. They're going to take all your outlet plates, your switch plates off. They're going to be treating behind there. They might be taking your baseboards off. Bed bugs can squeeze into those tiny spaces, and that's why it costs so much, because to get rid of bed bugs, the labor cost is more than with cockroach control. The chemicals are pretty similar between the two, but it's just that labor cost that's going to drive it up. And estimated about, for say, a 1,000 square foot house, it's going to be about $1,000 to get rid of those bed bugs. So about $1 a square foot. Here's my contact info. Our website, it's on the brochure there. A lot of good information on bed bugs, how to protect yourselves when you're going into these homes or coming into your excuse me. A lot of information there. I do want, before I start this presentation, I do need to let you know that I do have permission from the Northeastern IPM Center to present this PowerPoint. Years ago, I was searching for some presentations out there on bed bugs that I could use or base mine off of. And I came across this one, and it's perfect. So I contacted them to see, can I just borrow your presentation? And they said yes, as long as I say that I'm using their presentation. Some of the pictures are theirs, but some of the pictures we have modified this to include pictures that we've seen out there in the field. Our program, we go out and inspect. If say someone calls in and says, I have bed bugs in my home, and if they own the house, we'll come out, we can inspect it for them, see if they do have them, and then we educate them how they can try to get them under control themselves. The best thing is to hire a pest control person to come in. A lot of times, though, we're dealing more with landlord-tenant situations where the tenants are having a bed bug problem, and it might be where it might be a duplex, an apartment house, or a complex, where a next door apartment had the bed bugs and they come into this person's apartment. And so we have an ordinance, public health hazards ordinance, that allows us to order landlords and property owners for these rental situations to do pest control to get rid of these bed bugs. So we also do a lot of bed bug complaints at hotels and motels. Again, it doesn't matter how clean the place is. You might go into a Hilton, you might go into a Holiday Inn, there could possibly be bed bugs there. And I'll talk a little bit later how you can protect yourself if you're going into that situation and traveling. So, bed bugs have been around pretty much since the beginning of man. They started out pretty much like they're bat bugs. These bugs fed on bats, and when humans moved into the caves to live years and many, many years ago, these bugs fell to the ground and started feeding on those humans. And so their preference, their food preference changed from bat blood to human blood. And so bed bugs have been around pestering us for all this time. So this nursery rhyme, good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite, that's been used for eons. So what is a bed bug? Bed bugs feed on our blood. They don't feed on pollen like mosquitoes. Mosquitoes, they need the plant nectar to survive. That's their food source. It's only the female mosquito that gets the blood to help with that protein in the blood to help create her eggs. Mosquitoes aren't feeding on us for their nutrition. But bed bugs, as well as ticks, they need our blood to survive. And so they're out there going after us for our blood. Usually when you see them, if you can see them, they get about to be about the size of an apple seed. Now the problem is when they hatch out of the egg, they're very clear, translucent, so they're very hard to see. But as they get older and feed, they get darker, and as I said, they get to be about the size of an apple seed. They do have 6 legs. They are an insect. Ticks have 8 legs, and ticks are part of the arachnid family, so they're not actually related. But they do get a little reddish orange. So why are they back? So for years we haven't seen bed bugs at all, and then all of a sudden they're coming back. There's several reasons. A lot of people blame the foreigners coming into our country, and that's not the only cause. Yes, they may people coming in from outside of the country, they may be bringing them in their luggage, their belongings, but international travelers, Americans going to other countries, bringing them back in their luggage. Part of the problem is the chemicals. The chemicals that we use to kill bed bugs, a lot of them are becoming resistant. These bed bugs are becoming resistant to these chemicals. Right now, the best method to get rid of bed bugs is heat. Some of these exterminators will come in and they'll set up these big heating units and run big hoses through your house or apartment, and they'll heat your house up, and it has to get up to about 120, 125 for at least 30 minutes. And that heat has to penetrate everything. Your clothes, your walls, to kill those bed bugs. And the good thing with heat kills the eggs. Chemicals do not kill the eggs. So if that pest control person's coming in with chemicals, they're going to have to treat every 2-3 weeks to finally get rid of them. Another issue is our low-income population. One, they don't have the money. As I said, it's pretty expensive. They don't have the money to control these bed bugs. Two, quite a few of them they just have no funds, so they see a nice-looking couch or a mattress and box spring sitting out at the curb or out in the alley, and they'll grab it, bring it home, find that it has bed bugs, and now their place is infested. They'll throw it out. Someone else later on might come along and grab it, take it home, infest their place. So that's how these bed bugs are getting around. It's they are pretty much everywhere. You just have to be careful when you go into situations to protect yourself. So, fortunately, bed bugs do not transmit disease. If they transmitted disease like mosquitoes or ticks, we would be in a world of hurt. Because, as I said, bed bugs are everywhere. Now, we do consider them a public health pest because, not because they transmit disease, but they do cause secondary issues, mental health issues. I mean, who here wants to tell their friends or family they've got bed bugs? You're worried about how much it's going to cost to get rid of them. You're worried about, are you taking them to work? Are you worried about your kids taking them to school? And then the secondary infections. People get bit, they start scratching those bites. Bed bug bites look just like mosquito bites. When you're bitten by that bed bug, they're putting their proboscis right into your skin. They're injecting their saliva, which contain anticoagulants, allows that blood to come out, and your body's immune system reacts to that, and that's why you get that itchy bump. And so, same as mosquitoes. The female mosquito, she bites you, same process. Your body's reacting to that foreign material. So, as I said, we don't consider them a true health hazard, but we do consider them a public health pest because of those reasons. So the picture on your right is they're unfed bed bugs. The one here on the left, they're darker, they've got blood, they get a little bit bigger. So when they're unfed, they're about the size, they're about thin as a credit card. So that's how they can get into those tight spaces and hide out, so you can't see them. Same picture, unfed and fed above and below. So one of the problems with bed bugs, if someone is not doing any control at all, and you have one pregnant bed bug, 6 months later, you're going to have close to 32,000 bed bugs in your home. Because these bugs are incestuous. They're just whole cycles going on. And so if you're not doing any control, that's what's going to happen. And some people that haven't, there's been stories and studies showing that people that don't do bed bug control, and it's strange because some people don't have reactions to the bites. So they're being fed on every night when they're sleeping, and they will end up with anemia. There's been studies shown that some of these people that are being fed on by these bed bugs are becoming anemic. So another kind of secondary health issue there. They are most active at night. If we go into a house, a home, apartment, and we're seeing bed bugs during the day crawling around in the kitchen or in the bathroom, then that's a major infestation, because normally they're not active during the day. They're usually hiding out. Usually we'll find them in the bedroom, or we'll find them in the, say, your family room or living room with the couch or your lazy boy where you might be sleeping at night. If we're finding them out during the day and in the kitchen and bathroom, that's a major infestation. So they do hide in the cracks and crevices. Fortunately, they don't fly, they don't jump, but they are fast. So if you see one crawling on the floor, like say in your office or home, you want to grab that right away and flush it down the toilet. Because they'll crawl, get away from you real quick, and then you may not be able to find it. So as I said, they do eat and drink blood. They can be confused with the tick, cockroach nymphs, bat bugs, and spider beetles. As I said, mosquito bites and bed bug bites look just alike. So when we go out and do an inspection, we're making sure we have to see evidence of the bed bugs. We can't, a lot of times in these hotels, motels, we'll get some people that will call us saying that they had bed bugs, and they might have some bites, or they might even have some dead bed bugs in a pill jar or pill bottle or something. And they'll say, well, I want my money back from the hotel. Well, we don't say that that room's infested unless we see actual evidence ourselves. We see blood on the mattress, we see actual live bed bugs, the skins. We don't base it just on bites or someone showing, hey, this is what I've got. because there are people that will travel with bed bugs in a vial, or a prescription bottle, or a plastic baggie, that will go from motel to motel trying to get their money back, so they can get a free night. It happens. So I said these are some of the signs. We have to have other evidence that they're there. As you can see on this mattress, or no, this is a couch. When bed bugs feed and they're full with blood, they start kind of shooting it out their other end. So you'll get these black marks. That's what you're looking for. When you go into the hotel rooms, if you're traveling out of town and you're staying at a hotel, I've trained my kids do it. I've trained them. They'll go in and pull the corners off the bed, the covers and the mattress pad, and look for this stuff. Fortunately, a lot of these hotels are going to bed-bug-proof encasements, because that helps protect their investment of their mattress and box spring. And same thing in your homes. It's the best thing to do. But that's what we're looking for. It's what you should look for. Another place where we usually, when we're doing our hotel-motel inspections, we'll pull the headboards off the wall that they'll have up on the wall. We'll pull those off and look behind them. And actually, that is where we normally find bed bugs, is behind the headboards. Because they're not getting, the hotel workers are not moving those and checking behind them. So the bed bugs get hide out behind there. And then when the person goes to sleep, they'll come out and feed and then go back in. So, get two people, lift it up, take it off, take a flashlight, and look behind it. Okay, yeah. So this is just some fecal spotting on the wood there behind the headboard. This is a mattress. Again, you've got that fecal spots there.
That's not from Fort Wayne, is it?
No, this picture was taken by Ohio State University.
They drove here for.
But this is here in Fort Wayne. This is a hotel or a motel in Fort Wayne. This one was the people were not taking care of the bed bugs. All they were doing was smashing them in the wall. And there was a hole here. And so these bed bugs are pretty smart. They know to find openings, and they will move from apartment to apartment. They'll get behind the outlet plate or the switch plate. They'll travel along those electrical wires and start infesting the next door apartment. Especially if, say, this apartment, there's no food source anymore, it's vacant. They will then move to the next one where there might be some people. So they're pretty smart. But yeah, these bed bugs were going in and out of here. The black spots are the fecal matter. These are the blood spots where they were smashing them. Shed skins. They shed their skins just like snakes and reptiles. That's their exoskeleton. As they get bigger, they have to shed it. And so that's what we're looking for, are the skins. Some more shed skins. So this is what it looks like close up. It's got this proboscis, the needle, just like the mosquito. Bites right into your skin and draws that blood out. This one was in Fort Wayne. This person basically slept and sat in this lazy boy every day. That's all they did was just sit in this lazy boy. And this thing, the bed wasn't infested, the couch wasn't infested, the lazy boy was infested. And when the apartment complex finally was able to remove the chair from the apartment, this is what was underneath that lazy boy.
Wow. So that was on the carpet?
Yes.
Underneath it, not in the chair?
Oh, they were in the chair.
Okay.
But this was after they tried to treat the chair a couple times, but it wasn't working, and they finally got rid of it.
Goodbye chair.
No. Live bed bugs. So again, they're going to be wherever you are, wherever you're sleeping, or sitting for a long period of time. So your beds, your couches, your lazy boys, that's where they're going to be. And that's why I said if we're seeing them in the bathroom, we're seeing them in the kitchen, that's a pretty bad infestation. Just some more pictures of bed bugs. So again, bedroom, family room, that's where we're going to see them. And as I said earlier, this is why we have such a problem, is because people just grab that. They don't spray paint, throw away. They don't spray paint bed bugs. The trash, sorry?
Let's advertise.
Yeah. The trash company, local trash companies, they have stopped taking mattresses and box springs. They'll only take them if they're wrapped in plastic. And so they will tell people when they come by, they'll leave a sticker that says this needs to be wrapped up in plastic.
You mean the trash company?
Yes.
The trash company won't take it. What are you supposed to do?
Burn it.
Take it up, wrap it up in plastic, and then they'll take it. The trash companies are concerned that as they're throwing it into the back of the truck, they're going to get bed bugs on them. Which, it's a possibility, but it's a very slight possibility. Again, bed bugs don't jump, they don't crawl. But if someone does have a pocket on their shirt, or they have cuffed pants, or cuffed shorts, if bed bugs fell off that mattress, could possibly get into your pocket and you take it home with you. So, yeah, so again, if you go into any clients' homes, patients' homes, you take your purse in there, a bag in there, you set it down on the ground, you set it on their couch. Bed bugs can crawl into that stuff, and then you're taking it home. So these are just some monitor things, how to kind of monitor for them if you have them at home, passive or active monitors. So basically, when you're going into these homes, if you are going into homes, you really don't want to take any bags in with you. But if you have to, we suggest that you get like a large Ziploc bag that you can put your bag in, keep it zipped up, and only open it when you need to. Obviously, don't set it on the floor, don't set it on their couch. If you are buying any secondhand furniture, inspect it at the store before taking it home. A lot of these secondhand places are now, they've got a policy where you take the item home and you find out it's bed bugs, they're not giving your money back. Because there might be a possibility they say the bed bugs got onto it when you brought it into your house, not from the store. So bed bugs have gotten into the economy. Again, just kind of a funny little comic about bed bugs. But getting back to, so when you're going to the home, light colored clothing, because that'll help. They're darker, so they'll see them if they're crawling on you. Light colored shoes. If you are going into people's homes, wear a different pair of shoes. Keep your good shoes in your car, and your shoes that you wear into homes in a Ziploc bag or a tote in your trunk, and change the shoes before and after going into these homes. If you have to sit with clients or patients, take a stool. Our lead case manager, when she goes in to visit with the children for lead poisoned children, she has a tote in her trunk and has a little stool that she'll take and sit on that instead of sitting on their furniture. So now, sometimes that might be difficult, but if the person has like a hardwood chair or a metal chair, bed bugs don't really like to climb up metal or that hard wood. They prefer fabric because it's easier for them to crawl up. If you have to move a patient or a client, wear a full-length disposable gown that you can throw out after using it, or shoulder-length gloves. When you get home, if you've been in a possible risky situation, good idea, go in your garage, take all your clothes off, throw them in the dryer right away. 30 minutes on high heat, that'll kill eggs and any live ones. Again, it doesn't matter if the house is clean or dirty, but when the pest exterminator comes in to do the treatment, all this junk around on the floor it's going to be hard for them to do treatment. So you got to kind of, they'll give you instructions, pre-treatment instructions on how to prepare before they come out. And again, you don't have to panic. If you find one, it's likely that maybe it just came in, but you do want to do a full inspection. And if you do suspect that you brought bed bugs home, you can call us. We can come out and do a quick inspection. It's free of charge, public service. We don't do any control though. We leave that to the pest control professionals. A lot of the schools have kind of learned, at first when bed bugs were kind of appearing in schools, they were shutting rooms down, they were disinfecting everything. Well, disinfectant doesn't do anything with bed bugs. They've gotten to the point now where they'll do it and they'll kind of get the kids out, or we'll wait till the end of the day. They'll do an inspection. If they do find any evidence, they'll remove like any desks or whatever. But usually the school environment, same as like your hospital environment, it's a lot of linoleum and hard surfaces, not really conducive for bed bugs. Again, they prefer carpet, cloth. That's where you're usually going to have your issues. Treatment options, vacuuming. If you vacuum with a bag in the vacuum, you want to throw that bag out right away after you're done. We had a apartment complex in town a few years ago where one apartment had bed bugs and they were vacuuming, and they let a neighbor needed to use the vacuum, so they let the neighbor use the vacuum. That neighbor got the bed bugs. Another unit borrowed the vacuum, and they got bed bugs. So they will move around. Freezing. If say you go traveling and you're worried about your suitcase, if you have like say a chest freezer, you could throw your suitcase into your chest freezer, leave it in there for 3-4 days, and that'll kill any eggs or live ones. Heat, steam, you can use like steam units to steam your bed if you think you've got bed bugs, your clothes dryer. Pesticides, again, like I said, these bed bugs have become resistant to a lot of the chemicals out there. None of the chemicals out there that are residual, meaning that they stay there, none of those are effective against bed bugs. Bug repellent, like what you'd spray on yourself for mosquitoes, does not repel bed bugs. There are some sprays that you can spray, but you have to actually spray the bed bug itself with the chemical to kill it. But they're becoming resistant to that chemical. And I always tell people, if you just see one bed bug, don't just spray it. Just grab a Kleenex, grab it, and flush it. There's no reason to spray a lot of chemicals in your home if it's not necessary. Now, you might see some stories out there where people swear by using like 91% isopropyl alcohol. Yes, it'll work because what it does, it'll dry the bed bug out, but there's no residual because it dries up so fast. And if you're a smoker and you just sprayed some of that alcohol, you're going to blow up your house. And that has happened. If you Google isopropyl alcohol bed bugs, you'll see stories where people sprayed it all over their apartment and then they lit a cigarette and boom, because of all the fumes, caught fire. Some guy had a rental car and he found bed bugs in it. So he sprayed isopropyl alcohol in it, and he's sitting there, and for some odd reason, he was still in the car, even with those fumes in there. And he lit a cigarette and caught the car on fire. So you have to be very careful. Mattress encasements. Now, for mattress encasements, you zip them up. They've got a tight seal. I recommend even putting a piece of duct tape over the zipper just to be extra careful. But they will keep the bed bugs out of your mattress and out of your box springs. Bed bugs in the box springs are a little tougher to get rid of because it's so open in there and there's so many hiding places. We also tell people if they do have bed bugs and they can't afford to go buy a new mattress or box spring, put this encasement on it because that'll actually trap them in there Now the problem is you can't tear that mattress encasement because they'll get out, and you have to leave it on there zipped up for almost up to a year or so, because bed bugs can survive without a blood meal for anywhere from 6 months to a year.
Wow.
Do
So,
they scream to get out?
They gotta go away.
not that I know.
But it's like magic fingers, you know, except you don't need a quarter.
Now this picture, I don't know if you can see it very well because of the light, but this landlord went in with a product called diatomaceous earth. And they just spread it all over the place, all over everything. Now this product, it's useful for bed bug control because you can put it in like behind your switch plates, your outlet plates, and it is kind of a residual. It'll sit there until the bed bugs crawl through it. What it does, diatomaceous earth is basically old fish scales, and they're ground up and they're very sharp. And they will pierce the bed bug's exoskeleton and they'll dry out. The problem is though, if you breathe this stuff in, it's going to rip your lungs up. Probably about 3 or 4 years ago, went out and did an inspection at a house, and they had bed bugs, and the mother went to the health food store, listened to them, and they said, oh yeah, you can spread this stuff on your mattress. Well, that night, she went to bed, got on the mattress, breathed it in, and had to go to the ER that night. She was having trouble breathing because it just rips into your lungs. So this stuff, you have to follow the directions when applying it. And that's why we like the professionals to do the bed bug control and not have these landlords just go in and put this stuff all over the place. Sprays, foggers. Foggers will not kill bed bugs. They'll just push them into the other rooms. Foggers are good for fleas, but they're not good for bed bugs. So that's kind of it in a nutshell about bed bugs. I'm trying to think. Oh, so when you go out of town, you go to a hotel, what I suggest you do is leave your luggage, put your luggage in the bathroom, go look at the bed, pull the corners of the sheets up. If you can, pull that headboard up. Some of these hotels have started screwing the headboards into the wall so you can't take it off. But just kind of look around, use your flashlight and look around the edges, see if you see anything crawling in there. Don't put your clothes in the drawers in the dresser. Leave your clothes, if you can, in your suitcase. You should be okay to hang them up if needed in the closet, but also that luggage rack that's in there in the room. For a while I was telling people, oh, it's okay to put your suitcase on there. And then I read some research from a bed bug expert out of the University of Virginia Tech, and she said no, because bed bugs will hide out on that luggage rack, and then they'll get into your suitcase. So the best place for your suitcase, top of the dresser, on top of the desk, or leave it in the bathroom, in the bathtub. You won't get bed bugs. Don't throw your clothes on the floor. Don't put your clothes on the bed. Take a big Ziploc with you or a garbage bag. Put your dirty clothes into that. Seal it up. You get home, throw them right in the washer and dryer, and then your suitcase, just inspect it, throw it in the freezer if you can, and that's it. Yes?
Yeah, hi, my name is Anna and I work at a small hospital, and a lot of times one of my jobs is infection control, and a lot of times the offices will call me because they'll see one bed bug off of a patient and they freak out and they call the EVS, and it must be this alcohol spray that they take over there and spray all of the cracks and creases. Are they really doing anything, or is that just making everybody feel better?
Yes, but if there are openings like in that baseboard where bed bugs could possibly hide, if that alcohol got in there, yes, it could kill them. But I just say do an inspection, and if you're not finding them, put some monitors out. You can easily get monitors at the hardware home improvement store. Some of them are just really flat pieces of cardboard with some glue in it and some space, they'll climb in there and they'll get stuck, and then you can see that you have bed bugs. So I'm not one to say put a lot of chemicals out there.
Yeah.
Chemicals have their use, but if there are no pests, there's no need to put chemicals out.
So if they see one bed bug, then they don't need to spray, they just need to get these monitors to find out if they're,
Well, do an inspection, look around. Kind of depends on how long's that person been in that room. If they've only been in there a few minutes and you see one bed bug, then you might want to look. If they've got any bags or anything with them, you might want to look on the outside of them, see if anything else is crawling out.
okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I just want to remind people, that is a service we do offer for families. If you have patients that come in that think they might have bed bugs, I think that's helpful when Dave and those guys go out there and then you give them a report that they can turn into the landlord. I think that gives them a little bit more leverage. But Dave, do other counties do that?
No. Some counties, every health department in Indiana kind of do their different things. Because bed bugs are not a vector, a carrier disease, transmitter disease, a lot of health departments out there, not just in Indiana but other states, I've done quite a bit of research out there on what other health departments in other parts of the state, country do. Because it doesn't transmit disease, they don't feel that they should spend the resources on doing something about it. Some health departments do, some don't.
And they would just go on our website, if they forget your number, just go on our
Yep.
website and go.
Yeah. You got a question?
Yeah, so now that we're all hyper vigilant about this, when we go on vacation from now till ever,
Yes.
if you feel you see something, what's the best way to address that with the ownership of the hotel?
I would let them know right away, because one, if you find live bed bugs in there, you're not going to want to stay in that room. So you're going to want to ask to be moved to another room. Because for them to come in and do the control, they're going to need to tear that room apart. So you're pretty much done with that room. If they don't have any available rooms, then you need to obviously ask for your money back. If you have trouble getting your money back with that property, then obviously you just need to go to corporate. How to say this delicately? The franchise hotels, motels are pretty good about it. Your local mom and pop ones are not so good about it. So.
Should you take a picture though, timestamp a picture?
Oh yeah. Any evidence like that is good. Now, like when people report them to us, either through our website, our complaint portal, or over the phone, we'll go out and investigate, and if we see the evidence there, then we order them to do a treatment. A lot of if the management has already been notified on the places that'll do something right away, they'll do it right away. We get there and the room's already out of service, and so, yeah. Yes.
Do you inspect multiple rooms when you go out there?
Yes. So if we do find evidence of bed bugs, say in a motel or a hotel or even an apartment complex, then we go and look at surrounding units because these bed bugs can spread around. Yes.
I work in a women's center in Noble County, and we had a patient come in yesterday, and he had a history of bed bugs about a year ago, and after he left the room, after about an hour, he found 5 bed bugs.
Wow.
Now, we see our patients weekly, so he'll be coming back to our clinic weekly. Do we need to contact like the Noble County Health Department? It's from his private residence?
You can. We do get calls from offices, and they'll actually give us their patient info, and we'll go out and
Financially, I know he was not going to be able to pay for the treatment.
right. You can check with Noble County Health Department. I don't know what they'll do. Yes.
I just have one comment. We had a situation where a family did have bed bugs when they were a patient. We weren't aware of it. After they were discharged, another family member from a different area was in another room, and she found a bed bug. So we were able to track it back to where they were actually from. And it was like 2 rooms down. So what you're saying is that they do travel.
Yes.
You know.
Oh, yeah. They will go to wherever that blood source is. Yes, in the back.
So, for us, where I'm from, it's common in our area, we have, our pest control places have bed bug dogs, and they're in a lot. We have a lot of patients that have it, so we can't tell the patients that they can't come in.
Right.
We can track, who has it, who doesn't, but we do get this a lot. So one of the things we do is, we close off the room, we don't use the room. It's not just for us, and we're a clinic, but it's also for the hospitals in the area as well. But is there any other precautionary? I mean, it's not, to me, everybody's all, it's not gross to me because this is a norm for us and something we deal with on a daily basis because of our patient population. But is there anything else besides the education? Of course, monetary, we know they can't take care of it. We take care of it at the clinic, the hospitals take care of it in the areas, but besides pamphlets telling the patient, blah, 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 how can we?
What I would suggest is if they have any bags, purses, any belongings that they're bringing with them when they come into your clinics or your rooms, give them a trash bag, put the stuff in and tie it up. Then those bugs aren't crawling out of those bags. They may not like that, but I mean, that's to protect you guys and obviously protect so you don't have to spend the money doing treatment and all that and shut down the room. So.
Well, we have physicians that even go outside of their car or their house to see them so they don't have to come to the office for everything else. I just didn't know if that would be appropriate.
Yes.
Okay.
On our website, on our bedbug page, we have some information, like a flyer or like a handout that you can give to those doctors. Some of the things I talked about today that talks about how to protect yourself when you're going into other people's homes. Any other questions? Yes?
Movie theaters, any advice?
Again, you just have to be careful. I mean, you have to kind of inspect yourself when you leave.
Bring your purse.
I know, like, say here in town, Regal Theater, some of the theaters have gone to like the vinyl seating. That's not a good and conducive environment for the bed bugs. Ones with cloth, you might be a little concerned. If you have a purse or a bag, I would not put it on the ground. Yeah, you could always take a trash bag with you and put it on the chair and sit on the trash bag. In restaurants, churches, libraries. I mean, again, these bed bugs are such perfect hitchhikers. They're just everywhere. And I really don't see us getting rid of them. They're going to just keep getting worse and worse, especially as they become more resistant to chemicals. There are researchers out there trying to find more chemicals, more even natural type stuff that can take care of them, but I just don't see us ever getting rid of bed bugs. Yes?
We heard the entomologist in the state talk a few months, I don't know, maybe years ago, and he suggested, or he said that they have these little CO2 monitors, and suggested, maybe putting them in your OB areas where the families are going to bring all the car seats and all of the baby stuff in.
Yeah,
Do you think those are very effective?
Oh yes, there's some out there on the market that you can use. You're just going to go through a lot of CO2 canisters.
What are the state? I've never heard this. What are you talking about?
So bed bugs, one of the things bed bugs are attracted to, just like mosquitoes, is CO2. So when you're breathing, that's what they're attracted to. So you get the CO2 canister, you can use dry ice. And if you Google it, there's all kinds of homemade ones you can do yourself. You just have to have a supply of dry ice or these CO2 canisters and then set it up as a monitor. That's what's called an active monitor. The passive monitors are just the little cups or the little cardboard things that you place around the room to see if they crawl into them. Those CO2 ones are active because it's drawing them to that.
And when we have a patient who's returning to radiology weekly or something, and we know that they have bed bugs, seen them on the patient, we are recommending that before their appointment, if they're able to take a shower, stick their clothes and their shoes in their dryer for a half hour, put them on, and then come. Is that good advice?
Yeah, I mean, that's perfect advice. If they're gonna follow it, though, is a different story. So, yes?
So, what's for the lifespan of one of these critters? I mean, if you vacate a house and they have no food supply, I mean, they'll leave
They'll
the abode,
either,
right?
they'll, if that house sat vacant for 5 years, they'd be dead. So they need a blood meal about every 6 months to a year to survive. If they're feeding fine, whatever, their lifespan I think is basically about 3 years, and then they die off. But when the females are laying their eggs, they're laying about 100, 200 eggs.
Wow.
So it builds up quickly. So, yes.
Also have to be watchful in the schools if the kids are bringing their book bags in and they're hanging them side by side on the wall.
Yes.
We had an incident where they were infested, a child brought the book bag in, had bed bugs on it, and then the next child who's sat, like, hung on the wall, they crawled from one book bag to the other during the day.
Yeah,
Individual lockers, it's not as bad, but when they're all hanging up.
Oh, yeah. Some of the school systems they've gone to, if they do find a child with bed bugs, they know there's bed bugs at home, they'll actually require the child to bring their bag in, like in a trash bag or a Ziploc bag. So. Yes?
Are there any legal firms that are working with the Board of Health? I've noticed that when I've advised young renters that I've seen in contracts that the landlords now, from like the private mom and pop, are phrasing, and it happened even with my own child, they're phrasing it that pest control and rodent control is the renter's responsibility. However, the owner of the facility is, you know, the landlord. So how does the Department of Health, do they contact the owner if a renter or neighbor is, do you know what I mean?
Yes, so our ordinance, our public health hazards ordinance, which was passed in 2015, requires the property owner to do the pest control, no matter what's stated in that contract.
Okay.
But a lot of these landlords, property owners have found a way to work around that, where they will pay for the pest control up front. But they'll put language in their contract that says the renter will reimburse the property owner for the pest control. We don't have any control over that. And I believe the state landlord-tenant law, I can't remember what it says, but the problem with that law is there's no agency, state agency, that enforces it. There's a law about landlord-tenant issues, but there's no one that enforces it. So we always tell people in those situations, look at your contract. We can't give any legal advice out. We're not legal people. And so we always recommend that they contact, if they have concerns about their contract, contact an attorney. We do provide, there's a free legal clinic in town that they can go to with landlord-tenant issues. And so we recommend that if they can't hire an attorney to contact this group. Any other questions?
What about electronic deterrents? Seem to be more and more popular.
The ultrasonic ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, those ultrasonic ones do not work. Bugs they just aren't affected by those ultrasonic devices. I need to get a picture of one into my presentations, because people do ask that question. And there's this ultrasonic device plugged in, and there's probably about 30 cockroaches all around you. So yeah, those don't work. Any other questions?
Just a reminder that not everybody has an allergic reaction to bed bug bites. So, you know, if one member of a family is having an issue, but the others are okay, don't think, oh, there must not be a problem, because not everybody will have that allergic reaction. So if you see the typical, you know, signs and symptoms, what do they call it, Dave, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because a lot of times they'll happen in threes. You'll see the lesions in three, or the bites in threes. But just remember that not everybody's allergic to it or has a delayed reaction to it, so.
Yeah, and to add to that, to explain that, so when you're sleeping at night, and there's a great video online from National Geographic. So you're sleeping and that bed bug gets on your leg or your arm, and they'll kind of stop and they'll wait, make sure you're all settled. Then they'll bite, okay? And then they start feeding, and your body might just involuntarily jerk a little bit. They'll stop feeding. They'll crawl up a little bit further. They'll wait a little bit, then they'll bite again. Start feeding again. And then again, your body might react a little bit. You might turn, and then they'll crawl up a little bit more and start feeding again. So a lot of times you will see 2, 3, 4 bites in a row or in a jagged row on your arms and legs. They do not feed on dogs or cats. They don't like fur. So if you're very hairy, then you're safe. Don't shave your legs. Okay, any other questions? Yes?
So they won't feed on animals, but will they travel on animals?
No, they do not like traveling through hair or fur. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Okay, 15 minutes.